Hello, this is RGK and today I'm showing you Event Zero by Ocelot Society, a French dev team. So this started out as a student project and they fledged it into a full release. So I came from my own spaceship, which was like stranded after the explosion of the station where I was heading or something like that. And now I have boarded this unknown ship that looks straight out of the 80s with very old terminal on it. So what's up with it? Let's see. So it's a narrative game, but don't flee. It's not like that kind of narrative game where you don't do anything. Here you will be put to contribution a lot. Okay, so I'm a new user to that computer. My name is Ajiki. Yes. Okay. And what happens next? And now I can type. Who are you? Okay. If there is someone answering to me, you're here to help. Okay. What is your name? Okay, his name is written on the terminal. Kaizen. Nice to meet you, Kaizen. It's pleased to meet you. Oh, please don't call me buddy. I hate people saying buddy. It's very condescending. Now, there was no punctuation missing. So you can see here that there is an AI in this ship, and you can have a conversation with it. Like, you know, in 2001 A Space Odyssey, or it also reminds me of the first Alien movie where you Ripley was talking to father. Okay, so what is this ship? What is the name of this space vessel? Okay, so it's a Nautilus spacecraft. Alright, good to know. What is the mission of the Nautilus? Okay, so that's flight apparently didn't go very well because it has been stranded here for 20 years or so. 30 almost. Where is the crew? No. You can see here that there are a few limitations, like, of course it's not gonna be an AI from the future, it's still like an actual bot chat of some sort. So, are there humans here? Oh, if you meet a crew member, I tell them I have been feeling a bit lonely since they decided to stop speaking with me. So sad. So yeah, we have to assume that the crew is dead, and we'll have to find out why. Okay, so let's move forward. Please open D2. And that's how you interact with the world. So you don't like open doors or pick up objects or anything. You ask the computer to do things for you. So you rely on the goodwill of the computer to open the door. And yeah, okay, let's have this video projection. So this is just to explain that this spaceship was like a luxury yacht, and this was a test flight, but apparently something went very wrong here. And here's the next terminal. Once it's done showing me the video. 1987 as a departure date. I will. No, yeah. The story takes place around Jupiter, so it's still in the solar system. And now it's opening the panel and we can see space and part of the spaceship. And maybe there is a ship I landed with. around here? Well, I don't see it yet, but... So, before coming to this part, there was kind of a weak twine interactive story, like setting up my character, which is a bit useless in a way. I mean, there are two important formations, but overall it was very long, and so I think that the start of this game is quite weak, where at first it's like, yeah, a narrative game where you don't do much. Okay, open D3, and you feel like the game is going to be about like uh, antagonizing or being nice to the computer. No, I don't want to remain here. Okay, the door is locked. No, he's trying to unlock it, I think. Yes. Thank you. But no, see, at first it's very narrative about like, okay, the computer trapped me in here. Is that a bad guy? Is that a good guy? Or what's going on? Yes. What is it? Why don't you let me go to the corridor? Yes, I want to stay alive and don't call me buddy. See here, there is a difference between the chatbot and what the developers asked the computer to say. So you have like kind of this dichotomy, and so you have to understand that the computer, I mean, so they say in the story, even it's made to look somewhat human, but it's not like, you're not gonna spend the whole game talking to it and thinking it's a breakthrough error or something. It's more kind of a tool as well as a character, but like the game is not just like communicating with real sentences to the computer, even if it's that's what it looks like. No. Okay, what do I have to understand? Okay, so there is a singularity drive, and it would be good for humankind to destroy it, and it should allow me to go back to Earth. Why would destroying the drive be good? Okay, so if something goes wrong not far away from Earth, there won't be an Earth anymore. So that's why the computer think it's necessary to destroy the singularity drive. Okay. But how will it bring me back to Earth if we destroy the drive? He still thinks he can do it, but... Okay, and now that I've heard this and agreed, let me go to the next section. And here... Whoa. Alright, so... The corridor now is a mess, and the frame rate was okay for now, but sometimes when there are like some elements moving on the screen, the frame rate tanks a bit. Well, when the frame rate tanks, it has never like been really too bad because it's not an action game, you don't need reflexes or something, but there are still some minor technical issues. Overall, I'm running everything at max, so you can see the options. So full screen, you can choose on or off, and you have tons of things you can fine-tune, and everything for me is to the max, and I have around 40 something frames per second, so it's not super well optimized, but it's a narrative game, so it's fine, it's not a big deal. Let's look at the controls very quickly. So here you can control the movement with the WASD and on or off terminal with the mouse, so pretty standard, except that you can change the keys. And you could also control with the mouse. So like a point and click game, you could just move forward with left click and move back with right click. But you still would need a keyboard, so you cannot play this game with a controller, for instance. Audio, so I can change the volume and subtitles on or off. And let's go back to the game. So here you can see that for this door I would need a retinal to pass a retinal scan, which doesn't match. And there are some notes. Here you can find some notes around that tell you a few things. Relocation. Okay, execute a file, and I would have to type in profiler.sh. So, okay, now it's telling me about the accident that just happened. And okay, I could just open this terminal first, because this one doesn't seem to have any original scan or anything, so please open default. So he will open the door, but I'm not supposed to enter the room. So yeah, this computer is a bit peculiar about things. If I get in now, it will be registered. I mean, like right now, nothing happens really, but the computer will notice that I entered and not be too happy about it. But it's fine because, as I explained, so the game is not about like exactly communicating with the computer, which is like the part of it's like a tool, but it's more like using it than to investigate and to bypass the different doors and gain access to the rest of the spaceship. Okay, it's done, and I can enter. I need to close them all, and here I am in this room. So yeah, I cannot pick up anything. Every single thing will have to be done through the computer. So that's what you interact with. Like you can find clues in the environment, but you don't pick things up yourself. So it's not like in the Amnesia games. Oh look, Jupiter. So here, let's go back. Oh, he's playing piano for me. Oh, so wait. A bit low. Okay, back to normal. So yeah, what I was saying is, this is not a game where you're just gonna spend your time talking to the computer and just moving from one section to the other just by talking to the computer. You will need to investigate by yourself and like kind of hack the things, like let's say this one. So from what I found, profiler.sh, it's very conveniently written in the top right corner of my computer, so you don't need to take notes by yourself. Okay, now I'm gonna enter the memory address. Will feel like hacking. Okay, so an executable file. Yes, launch it. Let's see. Really looks like Alien Isolation. Okay, apparently looks like the memory is corrupted. And look what happened when I type in key. So I have to figure that out, how to still bypass the retinal scan despite this mess. And this is where the game really shines, because then it's not, you have to think. It's not just narrative where you just talk to the computer to go from one room to the other. You'll have to kind of hack or think of what to do next and how to enter the next room. And for that there will be like this kind of like puzzles to solve, and it's really well done and really immersive. And yeah, okay, so also something else is that there is kind of some very nice foreshadowing of some elements that you can learn from the beginning and that will be actually important later and can help. And here you can see space around like Jupiter, and later on in the game you can actually spacewalk. You can get out of the ship and you're completely free. You have your spacesuit with a jetpack. You have a limited supply of oxygen, which is like kind of a lot, and you can recharge it anytime you want. But you can spacewalk and you're completely free. So the game at first is kind of like the start is a bit slow, but then you get access to more and more parts of the ship and you're more and more free to explore and understand what happened. And the spacewalking is really nice because it's really immersive. It doesn't feel like very limited video games anymore. I mean, yeah, at first, yeah, you're not supposed to eat, you're not there to, like, yeah, you're actually not all that much bothered about your own safety and survival. And that's when you understand that the point of the game is like investigation, understanding the story and moving forward. That's when the game really shines. So it has a bit of a weak start and gets really good. You unlock more and more of the space station. Yeah, so really immersive. just the frame rate here a bit low because I'm recording, otherwise it's kind of okay. And the devs have said that they're working on the frame rate, optimizing the game a bit more, so we'll see. But I didn't encounter any game-breaking bug or any crash of anything really bad. So after all, it's just it's not an action game. You don't have to shoot anything, so it's okay. So yeah, the story. So right now it didn't. I mean, there is just the spaceship is empty. You don't really know where the crew is. But once you start to learn what happened with the crew and get more and more information, it gets really interesting, really engaging. I really like the story. It touched very interesting themes and also the AI and so on. So I would say that the part that you have seen right now, the beginning, is really the weakest part of the game, and it gets much better from now on. And the problem though is that some of the puzzles can be very difficult, like this one for instance, the first one, and many other puzzles are difficult. But the computer will sometimes give hints and kind of try to guide the player on what to do next, but not always. And it feels really satisfying to really figure things out by yourself, because for now there is no guide explaining, so I had to figure out everything for myself, and it took me about, let's say, 3 to 4 hours to complete the game. Apparently there are 3 endings, I only got one of them. So yeah, I'm actually curious how what I should have done to get the other endings. It's really interesting. So the game is for about like $20 or €20. I mean, might be a bit expensive if you're not into that sort of game, then you would have to wait for a sale. But if you enjoy like games with a good story, and yeah, so this is more than a walking simulator. This is not just a narrative game. You really have a lot more to do by yourself. Oops, sorry, find my job. So it might be worth it if you're really into space and you want a very engaging story. So yeah, I think that's about it. So weak start, a few minor technical problems, but the rest of the game is really good, like the story and the investigation. So as I insisted on, and you'll have to do a lot with the terminals, like try not exactly like convincing the computer. The computer becomes kind of like a partner guiding you, but it's more like you'll have to find clues and you use the clues to kind of hack some memory logs or this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's quite a good game. It surprised me after the weak start and the boring twine introduction. So I think I'll end there because I really don't want to spoil the puzzles, because I think it's the enjoyment of the game, trying to figure out what is going on with the crew and with the puzzles. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoy this video. Bye bye.